There was a time when Sean Diddy Combs owned the spotlight. Every red carpet was his runway, every club, his kingdom. And behind the scenes, he was building a billion-dollar empire brick by brick, with charm, ambition, and a smile that could melt headlines. But now, the empire is cracking. And that smile, it's nowhere to be seen. Whispers turn to shouts, allegations turn to federal raids, and one of hip-hop's most untouchable moguls is suddenly, painfully, exposed. How did we go from bad boy for life to maybe the biggest fall from grace in music history? Grab a seat, because this story isn't just about fame or fortune. It's about control, secrets, and the terrifying price of silence. It started, or maybe it ended, with a woman named Cassie. She was young, beautiful, and Diddy's longtime partner. But in late 2023, the world saw a side of their relationship no one was ready for. Cassie filed a shocking lawsuit, accusing Diddy of abuse, trafficking, and control that lasted nearly a decade. She claimed she was trapped in a cycle of violence while the world cheered him on. And here's the twist that shook people to their core. Diddy settled the lawsuit within 24 hours. No trial, no denial, just silence and money. To some, it looked like guilt. To others, it was power flexed once again. But behind closed doors, the walls were already shaking. Because someone, somewhere, had already been watching. March 2024. Homeland Security and the DEA stormed Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. The footage looked like something out of a movie. Agents in bulletproof vests, guns drawn, boxes carried out. Nobody could believe it. Not for Diddy. Not for the man once hailed as the king of hip-hop business. For years he had the world fooled, or maybe we all just looked the other way. Because when someone climbs that high, we don't ask how they got there. Until they fall. And fans started asking, was this the first accusation? Or just the first time someone dared to speak out? Aubrey O'Day, who was part of Diddy's girl group Danity Kane, spoke out after the lawsuit went public. And she wasn't the only one. Old interviews, cryptic tweets, even bizarre comments from artists like Usher and Kanye started resurfacing. What had once sounded like industry gossip now felt like warning signs. There's something chilling about realizing the truth was always there, just buried under glitter and Grammys. And if you think the lawsuit and the raids were the end of the story, they weren't. In fact, things were about to get even darker. But before we uncover the next layer of secrets, take a second to subscribe if you're into deep dives like this. Smash the like button to help more people see what really went down, and drop a comment below. Do you think Diddy's empire was built on talent or manipulation? Because what comes next might change how you see everything. The raids weren't just symbolic, they were surgical. Every room searched, every device seized. Agents reportedly took hard drives, files, security footage, even personal journals. The silence was deafening. Diddy, always so loud, so visible, and suddenly vanished from public view. And that's when the floodgates opened. Suddenly, everyone had a story. Old collaborators, former staff, background dancers, whispers of intimidation, secret settlements, wild parties with darker undertones. Some stories sounded too crazy to believe, until people started connecting the dots. In one now viral clip from 2016, Diddy says, "At the time, people laughed it off. Now, it sounds haunting. Rumors of secret rooms in his homes, private jet flights with no manifest logs, parties where guests had to hand over their phones at the door. Is it standard celebrity behavior or something more sinister? Because here's where things get even more disturbing." In April 2024, leaked footage emerged online, allegedly from one of Diddy's infamous house parties. The video is blurry, faces hidden, but the tone? Unmistakably unsettling. Some fans said it felt like watching Eyes Wide Shut in real life. Others, they were just in shock. And then came the bombshell nobody expected. Federal officials confirmed they were investigating potential links to trafficking, money laundering, and coercion. 3 separate investigations. One man, decades of power, finally under a microscope. Under pressure, Diddy stepped down from Revolt, the very media company he founded. His brands began falling like dominoes. Sean John pulled from major retailers. Ciroc ended their longtime partnership. Sponsors, deals, and celebrity friendships all went quiet. Even the Invincibles started to distance themselves. 50 Cent, never one to stay quiet, posted, "Harsh? Maybe." But millions of fans were thinking the same thing. And behind the headlines were real people. People who said they'd been hurt, silenced, controlled. Aubrey O'Day said it plain. Can you imagine being told your truth doesn't matter? Because the man you're accusing is worth $1 billion? Because he's Diddy. How many stayed quiet? And how long has this been going on? All those nights, all those cameras, all those thank yous and toasts? Were they built on fear? Or just a lie we all agreed to ignore? Because just when things felt like they couldn't get worse, they did. And what came next might be the thing that finally shatters the legend for good. If you're still watching, you're clearly not here for surface-level gossip. So go ahead. Subscribe for the truth beneath the headlines, like this video if you're starting to see the cracks. And tell us in the comments, do you think Diddy will ever be held accountable? We're just getting started. May 2025. A confidential source leaks a federal report, and it sends shockwaves through every corner of the internet. Inside it, testimonies, alleged victim statements, and a troubling pattern that goes back almost 20 years. According to the leak, Diddy isn't just under investigation for what happened in private. He's being scrutinized for how he ran his entire empire. Employees allegedly coerced into silence, NDAs used like weapons, shell companies linked to shady money transfers. And perhaps the most chilling part? Some of the same names appeared in multiple complaints over decades. The brand that gave us Biggie, the face behind Ciroc billboards, the media mogul praised for empowering Black excellence, might have been hiding a reality far darker than anyone imagined. And suddenly, fans were asking a painful question. Did we confuse power with character? For many, this wasn't just about one man. It was about the system that let him climb, unchecked. The media that praised him. The silence that protected him. He was a role model. To some, a father figure. To others, the embodiment of success against all odds. So when that image cracks, it hurts. But for others, it was validation. That their pain wasn't imagined. That the whispers had weight. Creators across YouTube and TikTok began stitching timelines, calling out long-buried moments, connecting them to now public evidence. Suddenly, what used to be industry gossip looked more like a blueprint of control. And then, right as public fury peaked, a video surfaced. One never meant to be seen. In it, Diddy talks casually about payoffs and about making problems disappear. He laughs, unbothered. It's not confirmation, but to millions it felt like it. In a matter of months, the man once called the godfather of hip-hop became its most haunting cautionary tale. His projects are frozen, his name erased from partnerships, and as of now, no official charges, just investigations and silence. But maybe that silence speaks louder than any press release ever could. So now we're left with questions. What happens when power protects the wrong people? How do we separate the artist from the empire and the man behind it? And most importantly, how many voices were never heard at all? This story isn't over. And the truth? It always finds a way to surface. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button to keep the conversation going. Subscribe for more unfiltered stories the industry doesn't want you to hear. And tell us in the comments, do you think Diddy will ever be held accountable? Because the spotlight may have moved on, but some shadows are too deep to ignore. We'll be watching. See you in the next one.